Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to a new video on the channel. Hopefully some of the background noise isn't too bad in this video. I've got the air conditioner running because it's still 75 degrees out tonight, and I've got the dishwasher running because I need to get some dishes clean. So hopefully there's not too much background noise coming through, and yeah, looking at that, looks like there's a lot coming through, but nothing I can do about that. So the giveaway for Hornet Leader Carrier Air Operations from Danverson Games closed with the upload of the Absolute War video from today. So with that being closed, now we're going to read through the comments that were left on the video and draw for the winner. After I draw the giveaway, I'd also like to beg your indulgence a little bit as I talk about some of my general thoughts from my first few months as a wargamer. First up, let's finish up the giveaway. So these are all the comments that were left on the 300th video on the channel. First up, we had Lower Slower Board Gamer, who you might have seen as part of our top 50 board games of all time countdown that we did on ID Jester's channel over the last couple of months. But his comment was, "Hey Phoenix Knight, I'm glad that the thing with the game got sorted out and congrats on the milestones. Don't worry about entering me into the contest. I'm good. But I found your channel looking for examples of gameplay for both Gaia Project and Arkham Horror the card game, and both were immense helps. Thanks, man, and congrats." For those of you who are wondering who need a quick refresher on what he's talking about with the thing with the game, when I originally got the first copy of Hornet Leader Carrier Air Operations, and it turned out the Cthulhu Conflict, both of them were basically unusable messes. So I had to reach out to Noble Knight to get a replacement copy on Hornet Leader. But before Noble Knight got back to me, I hammered out a deal with a gentleman on Board Game Geek to acquire new and shrink copies of both Hornet Leader Carrier Air Operations and the Cthulhu Conflict, which was the expansion, both of which were new and shrink. Then Noble Knight got back to me and sent me a new copy of the game, which was open, but everything was still unpunched. But the tokens were unpunched and the cards were sealed. So that's the copy we're actually giving away on this giveaway. So thanks for the kind words, Lower Slower. Meandering Mike chips in with, "Congrats on your milestones, keep up the good work, and have fun with the giveaway." He already owns a copy. Good luck to all the viewers out there. Once more, thanks for the kind words, Mike. Steph VE commented, "Congrats on both milestones, Phoenix Knight. Always enjoyed your Arkham Files productions, both entertaining and helpful. Glad that you find my Arkham Horror Files productions entertaining and helpful, and rest easy for all of my Arkham Horror Files fans. We're going to have plenty of Arkham Files content in the second half of the year to sink our teeth into." Speaking of which, Matthew also chimes in, "Huge milestone. I live in Canada, so I can't join the contest. That said, really enjoy your product unboxings, both board game and non-board game. Pine Tar Soap was a new experience for me. Appreciate all your Arkham Horror content, but more importantly, learning about new games and your variety of games. Necklace of Fireballs was the most mouth-watering Mystical Munchies episode, but I've enjoyed them all. Congrats." Pine Tar Soap is actually a soap flavor. Well, flavor is maybe not the word I want, but flavor I guess is the word I'll go with. From Dr. Squatch. As you guys know on the channel, I talk about the whole gamer, not just the gamer. So I featured stuff like soap from Dr. Squatch, products from Manscaped, yoga mat cleaner because I use that as part of my weight loss journey. And I'm currently down a little over 25 pounds on that front. So making slow but steady progress on that. Anyway, next comments. Higher Ground Gaming chipping in. "Congrats on 300 videos and 200 subs. Thanks for the kind words, Higher Ground." Josh Chiquette chimes in as well. "Congratulations on both milestones. Love seeing the consistent content. I don't have time to play many games now, so I hope Hornet Leader finds a good home. Your persistence is an inspiration to anyone interested in creating a channel. Keep it going." Thanks for the kind words, Josh. And funnily enough, you guys actually have Josh to thank for me being on YouTube, or possibly curse, but we won't get into that. So I don't think I've told this story yet, so before we continue with the comments, I'll move back up top to tell you guys this story. So back in 2020, right before the world went the way of my love life, I decided I wanted to start learning Python. So I started into data camp, continued with that off and on basically I've been continuing with that off and on for the last 3 years ever since. But I got to a chapter on lists, and I started thinking to myself, I wonder if I could pull a random selection on the list, and I wonder if I could pull a random selection on a list. So I emailed him about that, and he's like, yeah, you probably could. What I was thinking about, of course, was Arkham Horror Files related, was putting together a weakness selector for decks for the card game, because I needed both a deck creation weakness and a mid-campaign weakness, so I could select a weakness based on the type. So I kind of tinkered with that weakness script off and on for the next, I would say 6 months after that, especially with new content coming in. Finally got it to a point where I was like, okay, I think I'm ready to show this off. So I sent him a copy of the script with the weakness, and he sent me back a gushing email that he was so thrilled that I was using Python that I was exploring Python to see how it could integrate with some of my Arkham Horror stuff. But he mentioned in that email as well that I had a great personality for video content, and of course I couldn't resist laughing at that because, as you guys know, I've got quite the face for radio. So I kind of laughed at that, but then I started thinking about it a little bit. I was like, maybe I could do this. So I decided, I'm going to pursue it. So I bought a GoPro camera, started doing some test recording, went to pull the card out, and I just about burned my hand on that one. So I was not very happy with that. Then I got the Sony camera that I'm using now, the Sony a6000, and that's what I've been making my videos on ever since. So yeah, that's how you guys have Josh to thank for me being on YouTube now. Moving back to the comments, Jester chimes in, congrats man, glad you got that mug on screen again. Hopefully you get more and more comfortable with it. I don't need the game, but glad you can send it to someone. Well, I'm glad to be able to get rid of it myself. I don't need to have 2 extra copies plus one that I'm keeping out of circulation. I'm trying to bury that in my closet and forget that I've got it. So that's what I'm doing there. And then William Helhasius, congratulations, I just subscribed. DVG Games brought me here. Glad to hear that. So now I'll go ahead and draw for the winner. Unfortunately, it looked like there were only 2 winners who seemed to express anything resembling interest in the game. So I've got a wheel of names up here, which is not going to be that impressive a wheel, but we can go ahead and give this a spin, and somebody's going to win Hornet Leader Carrier Air Operations. And our winner is William Helhasius. Congratulations, William. I'll leave my email and a pinned comment in the description down below for the video, so you can reach out to me with your email address, and you can reach out to me with your physical address, and I'll get the game out to you hopefully this weekend if you get back to me soon enough. But we'll find out about that soon enough. So congratulations once again. Thank you all for 200 subscribers and 300 videos on the channel. Now let's talk about my general thoughts on wargaming. Before we jump into the next part of the video, I want to define a couple terms to help my non-wargaming viewers make sense of what I'm talking about. I'm going to be throwing around the terms operational and tactical a lot in this section of the video. When a game is described as being operational, this talks about games where you're in command at an army level or something similar. Think you're the general of the army, or you're the admiral of the fleet. It's maybe a touch simplistic, but that's the general idea. That's the basic idea. As for tactical games, in those games, you're on the ground carrying out the mission. In other words, you're the U-boat skipper, or you're the pilot in the plane, or whatever role you might have in the game in question. So for a non-wargaming comparison, I liken it to the mission table system from World of Warcraft. Whether it's garrisons from Warlords of Draenor, the class halls from Legion, the command table in Battle for Azeroth, or whatever other form it might have taken since I stopped playing during Battle for Azeroth. As the commander in that situation, sending your followers out, you're at the operational level, whereas the followers you're sending out are on the tactical level. I realize it's not exactly an apples-to-apples comparison, but that's the first thing that comes to mind to make this, hopefully, make sense. Anyway, let's move on with the important terms defined. So if you're a regular viewer of my content on the channel, especially of the games in my Tack Up Wargaming list, you're probably noticing two things. One, I'm mostly lukewarm toward the games, leaning toward enjoying them, if only very slightly. And two, there's a definite shift in the war games I'm picking up. Something has been off with my feelings toward most of the games on my list, except, as of now, for two. And it's been within the last few weeks that I've really started to understand and put my finger on why. At an operational level with the war game, so once again where you're in command, I'm starting to really find that theme matters almost as much as it does when I'm looking at pandemic system games. Also at an operational level, I'm getting that feeling of just moving pieces on the map, which isn't really that interesting to me. Even Atlantic Chase is guilty of this, and it does hurt my enjoyment somewhat of that game. It's not as bad as one other point that really hurts my enjoyment of operational level war games, and that's the disconnect I feel from the narrative. That's not to say that operational level games don't have narrative in them, far from it. The problem for me is, being up at the operational level, I'm finding the narrative to actually be somewhat predefined, especially when some of the scenarios have losing written into them. So where you're going into the scenario knowing, okay, I'm going to lose this game, lose the scenario going in. Field Commander Rommel actually did that with the Normandy scenario, and it looks like that'll do it with El Alamein as well. That's something of a miss for me, because I actually like enjoying some of the alternate history stories, where you get to explore some of those. Like Harry Turtledove is actually one of my favorite authors, because he actually has a long series about what if the South won the Civil War, or something like what if aliens invaded the Earth during World War II. Just some crazy stuff like that, and how to help explore that. We actually got to explore a little bit of the alternate history aspect in Hitler's Reich, where Barbarossa flopped and the Germans had to try to recover to see if they could salvage the war. And spoiler alert, in that playthrough, they couldn't. I've played a few tactical games on the channel, but more off the channel, and I've really been enjoying those a lot more. I think a lot of the reason for that is more of a connection to the narrative, and that the narrative doesn't feel as predefined at the tactical level. Plus, some of those games are built explicitly with the narrative in mind. There are also some other RPG aspects, like the leveling up through experience, that I really enjoy, and are going to send me exploring more tactical games for the foreseeable future. Now that I'm starting to understand that, I think that also helps me explain why my reaction to a lot of the games on my list has been less than enthusiastic, as a lot of those games are at the operational level, but some of those games were also a chore to learn, so that's not doing them any favors either. And I suspect I'll have more to say about that when I do a full list retrospective video later this year. Anyway, that's enough of the rambling, so let's wrap this video up. Sunday we're on track to play The Hunters, and Wednesday next week we're closing out June from a gaming standpoint as we play Marvel Champions. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone.